Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Calmetta here. And for today's news, we are going to talk about Russia and Ukraine because obviously a lot has happened and the news continues to change literally on the minute. So I'm going to do the best I can to bring you the latest headlines. It has been reported that Zelensky told his nation that Ukraine had suffered serious losses in the initial stages of Russia's long-feared attack early on February 24th, with an advisor saying that at least 40 people have been killed. Zelensky also said he was breaking diplomatic ties with Moscow, and he urged Russians who had lost their honor to protest their government's actions. The attack began in the early hours of February 24th with explosions and sirens being heard in the capital and the airport, and witnesses reporting missile blasts in many other cities. The attack prompted outrage and denunciations from the West and elsewhere as fears grew of a major war in the middle of Europe. NATO ambassadors said that the alliance has agreed to beef up its land, sea, and air forces on its eastern flank near Ukraine after Russia ordered the attack on Ukraine. NATO ambassadors said in a statement after emergency talks on February 24th that we have increased the readiness of our forces to respond to all contingencies. It goes on further to report that the Kremlin on February 24th repeated Putin's previous statement, saying that the goal of the invasion is a demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. In addition, the Ukrainian Prime Minister on Thursday claimed that Russian forces stationed in Belarus were trying to seize Chernobyl, the former nuclear power plant, as incursions continue across the country. A Ukrainian advisor to the Interior Ministry said in a Facebook post that the Russian forces entered the exclusion zone of Belarus and that the Ukrainian National Guardsmen were fighting hard. He said that if the invaders' artillery hits and ruins, damages the collectors of nuclear waste, radioactive nuclear dust can be spread over the territory of Ukraine, Belarus, and the country of the EU. In addition, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, a Ukrainian transport plane was shot down, killing 5 soldiers. At least 40 Ukrainian military members are believed to have died as Russia continues to invade the country, and those death estimates are expected to rise. In the meantime, at least 6 planes, 2 helicopters, and dozens of enemy armored equipment were destroyed as Ukraine defended itself against Russia. The minister claimed that the Ukrainian Defense Forces are deterring the advancement of Russian aggressors, having also burned 4 tanks near Kharkiv. Separately, Ukraine's Foreign Ministry spokesman on Thursday claimed that Ukraine's armed forces have taken 2 Russian infantry soldiers as prisoners. With that said, the Russian military claimed to have wiped out Ukraine's entire air defenses in a matter of hours, though it claims it couldn't immediately be verified. Smoke and debris were seen at the Ukrainian air defense base in Mariupol, a port city in southeastern Ukraine. In addition to all of that, Stoltenberg has stated that peace on our continent has been shattered. We now have war in Europe on a scale, and of a type we thought belonged to history. So this is definitely a very serious situation, what's happening in Ukraine right now. And I just want to say that my prayers go out to all of those in that sovereign country. But this situation right here can lead to something much, much bigger that me and many other people have been warning about for years now. Take, for instance, what happened in Taiwan just this morning. Taiwan's Air Force scrambled again on Thursday to warn away 9 Chinese aircraft that entered its air defense zone, according to Taiwan's defense ministry. This is on the same day that Russia invaded Ukraine. Taiwan, which China claims as its own territory, has complained of regular such missions by the Chinese Air Force over the last 2 years. The number of aircraft involved was well off the last large-scale incursion, with 39 Chinese aircraft on January 23rd. And since then, such flybys have been sporadic, with far fewer aircraft. But make no mistake about it, China is watching Russia in Ukraine. He sees the administration that we have now in the United States. I believe with all certainty that in the near future, China could very well invade Taiwan. They believe that this is their territory. Now, this is occurring at the same time that Russia is invading Ukraine. Now, with that on the table, let's talk about Israel. We know from prophecy in Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39 that Russia, Iran, and Turkey, along with many nations, will try and invade Israel. Well, just today, responding to Israel's cautious condemnations of its aggression in Ukraine, Russia last night assailed Israel in the United Nations over its annexation of the Golan Heights, stating that we're concerned over Tel Aviv's announced plans for expanding settlement activity in the occupied Golan Heights, which contradicts the provisions of the 1949 Geneva Convention. Russia doesn't recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights that are a part of Syria. Now, this is very telling. Could this be the spark that will begin the tensions between Russia and Israel? And we know the alliance that they have with Syria. They defend Syria. They have a strong alliance with them. So if they're saying that the Golan Heights belongs to Syria, they're going to try and protect that. But they're going to go further according to prophecy and try and invade Israel. So this is just something to keep in the back of your mind while all of this is happening, and this could definitely lead to a much bigger conflict. Now, hopefully it doesn't, but we see NATO activating its defensive response force. We see China, which is really nothing new. They're constantly harassing Taiwan with their flybys, and now we hear Russia say this about Israel. But as of right now, to get back on track, Ukraine is our main focus and is happening right now. So let's talk about a few more headlines. Turkey reported that one of its ships had been hit by a bomb off the coast of Odessa, where fighting is also going on. Elsewhere, Kyiv ordered civilians to bomb shelters amid fears that Russia is about to strike the Ukrainian capital as the troops battle for control of the key airfield around 15 miles away. Switzerland has imposed sanctions against 3 Russian banks and 361 deputies of the Russian Duma. And with all of that said, Biden has convened with the National Security Council meeting in the Situation Room and plans to give a press conference on the situation in a couple hours. According to RT News, Moscow is willing to negotiate terms of surrender with Ukraine regarding the Russian military currently taking place in Ukraine. According to Peskov, the Russian president has expressed his preparedness to engage in discussions with his Ukrainian counterpart, with a focus on obtaining a guarantee of neutral status and the promise of no weapons on its territory. There are terms, according to Peskov, that would enable the achievement of the demilitarization and the denazification of Ukraine and eliminate what Russia currently views as a threat to the security of its state and people. The press secretary added that Putin would determine the timing of the negotiations, but gave assurances that Russia would only engage if the leadership of Ukraine is ready to talk about it. The operation has its goals. They must be achieved. The president said that all decisions have been made and the goals will be achieved, according to Peskov. So very interesting developments here. Let's see if it happens. And with that said, obviously, new reports are going to come in, so I'm going to do my best to keep you guys updated on my various social media platforms, most particularly on Telegram. Please do leave your comments below this video. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Stay safe, and God bless.